Hello, welcome to the queue. Peace has once again come to the gaming table. Operation Big Red 1 has ended. Japan it was ready to go, take their turn, and on their turn, they would have regained this access to resources, victory point. However, the Allies in common turn have surrendered, and that's a look of the victory points at the time of surrender. Um, the game itself was an interesting game. A lot of times, people ask, teammates or whatever, what's your plan for the game, and I generally don't come into it with a concrete plan. Um, I had mentioned to Global War enthusiasts a couple of games ago that as I was Germany, I was trying to get Japan to come in here and do this Lower Egypt maneuver and then work on it from there to see what we can pull off. Um, it didn't take place. So when we were teamed up, he was Japan and I'm Germany and Italy in this game. He had brought up that idea. Let's try that plan, and so we did. We set forth, turn 8. Japan's going to be here, so Italy and the German African Corps will be in place, to fill in so Japan can get back. And Japan took out a couple of extra things, which was nice. Good income for Japan, no doubt, but also taking away bonuses from the Commonwealth and some good things there before they headed back to the Pacific. But as far as the rest of the plans that I kind of had going into this game in mind, what I wanted to do with Germany did not materialize. And a great deal of that was in the opening salvos of the war. Heavy casualties here in Netherlands and heavy casualties here in France. So much so that on the second turn after the war began, I don't think I could take Belgium. I had to build and go at the Belgium on the third turn after the war began, and then I took heavy casualties there in Belgium, which draining all those German resources. It may sound like some whining, but really did not allow me to do some of the things I wanted to. I mean, you can see Yugoslavia was left alone. Switzerland I never intended on, but obviously you want Yugoslavia for access to the Med and all that. But there was just not the forces. I think the last game I was Germany, I was here in Norway. That didn't happen because I never never had the resources to get all that done. Part of the other issue was the amount of aircraft that Germany was losing, turn after turn, and still building. It wasn't really until maybe 10, 11, turn 11, maybe, turn 10 or 11, that Germany finally had regained its air strength, I think, to get some things done. One of the other things in this game that was kind of unique was the Russian buildup here in Poland, which, meant I couldn't pull these forces and do some of these other things, and then they did declare war early, more earlier than most games where you have, Russia declaring war. So that left Germany in the defensive mode there in Poland. There was a couple attacks, costly on aircraft, not so much on the bombing. That's the good news. I think I only lost one plane to anti-aircraft in this whole game, and that was here in the battle for Paris. So, all that to say, a lot of different avenues here that opened up by that Russian declaring a war allowed me to sneak into Transcaucasia, take that, gain Turkey, and then be able to move those ships to help the Italians, and eventually aid in the counterattack of the U.S. fleet, down south. Which at that point, um, that was not that again was not my goal. It just was one of those things that presents itself that you go, well, I got to do that. Because originally I was going to maybe fortify here a little more, get my fighters in range here to come and hit Stalingrad with fighter support and the strategic bombers to knock that factory out. Never really got into Russia. I think maybe Western Ukraine, maybe Southern, I don't know. But the big back and forth battle here was interesting. I really kind of enjoyed that, going back and forth. Originally, I thought we would just go back and forth over Transcaucasia, but then I was able to get the upper hand and get into North Caucasia, and we have fought back and over forth with that, which is allowing me to build this fort. Would have been able to complete it on the next turn, and that would have been some interesting action there. The African Corps had come up here to southern Iraq, but they were going to come up here to Azerbaijan on the next German turn so that they could get into Transcaucasia and hopefully bolster up the Germans there enough that we could break through here in North Caucasia and come in, along with the 7th Panzer going here into Western Ukraine. Because originally my turn 13 play was going to be, we were going to move here, all in here, and kind of post up against this army, but when I had to divert all my aircraft south into the mid, I just kind of sat put because I couldn't make that move without the support of the aircraft. So now, on 14 they would have to come back, and then now I would make my move in, which probably would go here into Western Ukraine, and we'll challenge these guys with the fighters coming back, and probably. What I wanted to do with these naval forces was have a go at Leningrad there. But my planes all went south, so now they got to come back. So that kind of delayed everything, but it is what it is. So it was a good game. The convoying, pretty much that I like to do all over the place, kind of had to stay south and in the Med, because the Atlantic lines here were well escorted and fortified by the U.S. and British forces, so that was pretty good. There was a couple instances where I did get in and get some money, but not like what I intended at the beginning of the game. But it is what it is. It was a great defense of those convoy lines there, and you just can't cover everything. So I kind of had to settle for South Africa and the Med, and the Med's a decent line. Don't get me wrong. But it was eventually about to be squeezed out. The British came in to challenge the Italian Navy, and if I sat still, I'd probably get slaughtered. So I had to use my aircraft along with the Italian Navy to take out the British Navy. It was pretty much an even battle ship-wise, but the Italian planes definitely gave me the advantage. So. A good game in that aspect for the Axis. Japan had quite the normal interaction here in China. I think KMT was a little larger than sometimes some games we see. They threatened Nanking once but backed off. And the CCP is hanging in there. The big action here is the U.S. fleet. It's a lot of battleships. Not the heavy kind, though. They were unable to get that tech in this game. So that was kind of hurtful to the U.S. fleet, I think. But overall, fun playing with these guys. We are going to take a break, and we're actually going to play test some rules, and that's about all I can say on that. And then after that playtest game is over, we'll be back to Global War 36, version 4.2. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you all here probably in a month and a half or two.